Hi, it's Kathy, and I chose a card from Doreen Virtue's Mary Queen of Angels. And the card says, Caring. Heaven cares for me, and I keep my heart open to caring about myself, others, and the world. And before I read from Reverend Moon's autobiography, I'm going to read from Doreen Virtue's book about caring. Mother Mary sent you this card as a reminder that she cares deeply for you and your family. Although you may sometimes feel alone, you are definitely watched over and protected. When life is stressful, though it has been lately for you, you may not feel the Blessed Mother's loving presence. So carry this card with you to help you know that divine love is here for you. This card also asks you to keep your heart open and continue caring for others, even though you may feel unappreciated or used. Remember that your spiritual path is to be loving and helpful, not to change others. However, you don't need to, nor should you, stay in any abusive or toxic situations or relationships. You can care for someone from afar. Most important, care for yourself, dear one. Take time for you and attend to things that are important for your health, happiness, and well-being. Okay. So, we're up to page 74. I marked off quite a bit. He says, people need to discover new possibilities in the midst of hell. It is only when climbing out of the depths of despair and making a new determination that we can be reborn as people able to pioneer a new future. We should not look only in one direction. We should look at both, those who are in a higher position and those lower. We should know to look east, west, south, and north. To live a successful life depends on how well we see with our mind's eye. To see well with the mind's eye, we must have many different experiences and remember them. Even in the most difficult situations, we should maintain our composure, demonstrate warmth toward others, be self-reliant, and adapt well to any circumstance. A person of good character must be accustomed to rising to a high position and then quickly falling to a low position. Most people are afraid of falling from a high position, so they do everything they can to preserve it. However, water does not flow, that does not flow becomes stagnant. A person who rises to a high position must be able to go back down and wait for the time to come up again. When the opportunity comes, he can rise to an even higher position than before. This is the type of person who can acquire greatness that is admired by many people and is a great leader. These are the experiences that a person should have before turning 30. So, oh my goodness. It is important to become the king of suffering before age 30. The way to gain the glory of the kingdom of heaven is to become a king of suffering. And I put a little note here that I wrote, when I am suffering, remembering that Father suffered much more and made my life easier makes me grateful. Gratitude makes pain easier to bear. Love also makes pain easier to bear. If you do things, let's say you fast, you suffer because you're hungry. If you do things out of love, it makes it much easier to bear. If you do things out of fear, it's harder to bear. It's harder to bear. So right now, this morning, I had a deep prayer, but It was a very fearful, desperate prayer because I know so much about Divine Principle and Reverend Moon. I believe in him. I know without a doubt that he is the Messiah. And I am not sharing my faith with my family, with my friends, just with people. So in my prayer, I was very desperate. I have to change. I must change. And even like Reverend Moon says that we should learn Korean because that is the true parents' language. The true parents of all mankind are Reverend Moon and his wife. So I this morning I studied Korean because I said I have to push myself more. I've got to push myself. And I think the older you get, the more set in your ways you get, and the more you want just to be comfortable. And you don't want to have to strive and push yourself, and you don't want to have to go through all that. At least that's how I feel. I feel like, um, well, I feel like I'm tired, you know, but I got to rejuvenate myself because when you get to spirit world, it's too late. Um, Reverend Moon gives us hope that even if you end up in hell and you are considered evil, that you can punish evil people on earth, and if they resurrect and change, then you can resurrect. So there is hope if you end up in hell. The problem is it's so much harder. You think how hard it is for me to make myself study Korean. All I know is English, and I know un poquito of Spanish, but I I have to, so how hard it is to push myself while I have a physical body. Imagine when you're in hell, how hard it is to push yourself in hell when you don't have the vitality elements of your physical body. And when you're in hell, you can't go out in nature to get vitality from nature. From what I understand, in hell, like, everything is shriveled up. Things don't grow, so I don't even know if there's any grass in hell. It's darkness and gloom, and so you really must push yourself while you have a physical body, and you can't just take it easy. You can't just feel good. Like, I feel fine, I have friends, I have family that I love, but God wants us to be perfect so that we can be in heaven with him. He wants us to love all people. So I know myself, I don't love all people. When I was at the program that I go to, people were being very caring toward each other. We had there was an open mic. It was a celebration of Black History Month. And when they were talking, I was like, oh, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. Instead of listening to them and caring about them. So I have a long way to go in caring about people. So what about you? How far do you have to go about really loving your fellow man? You can't just love the people closest to you. And even in that department, um, I don't love my own family enough. I don't love them enough. Um, my mother was recently complaining that I don't do housework. So, and I could say, oh, well, I do dishes, and once in a while I take out the garbage, but I don't take responsibility for it. I just do it whenever I feel like it. So I need to serve my parents more, help out around the house more. So I have to really push myself to not be lazy, to not just take it easy. So the prayer I had this morning was very tearful and regretful and feeling desperate because I have a physical body now, and this is the time to perfect myself, to do for myself, to do for others, to serve others. Reverend Moon teaches that, live for the sake of others. That is how you can perfect yourself, by living for the sake of others. Do for others. So, okay, I'm gonna close for now, and I pray that I can change and give a better video. I pray that I can have more love in my videos, because right now there's not enough love in my videos, and I know that. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will try to do better. Take care, and thank you for listening.